So let's do the regular intro.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my name is Gary Butterfield,
My name is Cole Ross.
And I'm Bob Mackey.
and you are watching Watch Out for Fireballs, which is a retro video games podcast.
Yes, and for this very special occasion, we're talking about Super Mario Kart, which is a game that was developed and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo in 1992. Just a little bit of an outline for anybody who is new to our show, somebody who isn't aware. We are kind of like a book club for older games. We pick a game, we record a show about it, we get a lot of listener interaction. Who here has never heard our podcast before? Just real quick.
Awesome.
Ego stroking. Awesome. So
Yeah, thanks for giving us a shot.
Yeah.
As you heard, we're joined by Bob Mackey of Retronauts, our buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
They
very
get
much
the
for
applause now, not me.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
And you guys should stick around after this because the Retronauts is next in the same room. So yeah, Mario Kart. So in this game, you play as various Mario characters as they race around a faux 3D track, using items and power-ups to gain advantages over the other racers.
Yeah. I think everybody has probably played Mario Kart in some form or fashion, but it's pretty.
If not, get out!
Yes.
What are you doing here?
Somebody will show you the door.
Yeah.
Guys, I have something to tell you.
Oh,
This is a bad time.
Oh,
All right.
you guys are gonna have to present some Mario ID if you're gonna stick around.
Oh man, I had a Mario 2 Velcro wallet that had like a little lenticular thing of him getting
Yeah.
big, and so yeah.
Mario
But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Mario Kart is actually pretty remarkable because it was the first non-platforming game to feature multiple characters from the Mario universe. It was also kind of the first time that many of them were playable.
Right. So this set the stage for, if you're Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario Basketball, Mario Baseball,
Mario accounting,
Mario curling,
typing.
Mario teaches math.
Mario will knit you a sweater at times.
Yeah.
If you're in Japan.
Yeah. Mario runs a hotel.
Yeah.
If you got
He's
a 3DO,
missing
which you
some-
don't.
Yeah.
So and Super Mario Kart didn't start out as a Mario game or as a kart racer. It was an R&D experiment to figure out how to get two playable characters on the screen at the same time. It became a kart racer when they decided to use this to make a racing game a little bit like F-Zero but multiplayer. And it became a Mario game when the design team was working out the look for different characters.
Yeah, just trying to figure out like which kind of character looked best in these carts, in the way that they had it available. Let me see here. What was it that we actually did? Yeah, so like F-Zero, it relied on Mode 7. I didn't realize it was called Mode 7 because like in the SNES, there were like carts. Like there are different modes. Like Mode 1 is like 2D. So that's kind of weird. I thought it was like blast processing, like some kind of...
Like a non-term.
Yeah.
Like a marketing
yeah, exactly.
mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess a mistake. That worked on some kids.
Yeah, but some characters. So all the characters were drawn from 16 different angles, kind of like to achieve this faux 3D effect as you do those cool little camera pans around. I'm always interested when an SNES cartridge has like a special chips inside of it. That's something that we just don't see now. You can't put a chip on a CD without destroying the system that you put in.
You can put a chip on top of a CD.
Yeah.
Well, but it doesn't do anything. If you put that into your Xbox,
It makes a cool noise
yeah.
For
for
a
like 30
minute.
seconds.
Yeah, cool light show until the fire department shows up.
yeah, it's always a cool light show until the fire department shows up.
Yeah.
Shortest possible point between you and a red ring of death is putting a chip on your Xbox 360.
Yeah, we don't endorse that behavior. but it had special chips in there to handle all the math, just because it was really technically demanding. This was only like a year into the SNES life cycle.
Yeah. This game is incredibly successful. So this became the third best-selling Super Nintendo game. There are 10 games overall in the series, including 3 arcade versions that were co-developed by Namco, and they're not very good. And they include Pac-Man characters as racers. And as I mentioned, it's Mario and his friends go and play some sports.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It also established kind of this fact that kart racers are going to sell. Like there was this bumper crop of clones, close follows, stuff like Diddy Kong Racing, Crash Team Racing, Sonic R, South Park Rally, Bomberman Kart DX, Star Wars Super Bombad Racing, DreamWorks Superstar Karts, Madagascar Karts, Flintstones, Bedrock Racing, Smurf Racer, Rugrats Studio Tour, Inspector Gadget Racing, NASCAR Kart Racing, Jimmy Johnson's Anything with an Engine, Homie Rollers, and an imaginatively titled budget Wii game called Kart Racer.
kart racer. Yeah, and there were a lot of other. There's like Tim Time, Tool Time racers, and then there's Super Mario Cartographer and Super Mario Kart Blanche, and they really like spread out into some nonsense.
Super Mario a la carte.
Yeah, Super Mario a la
It didn't
carte. That's
come
if
all
you
in
just get
box.
one racer and you have to unlock the rest with in-app purchases. Don't play it.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Why don't we talk a little bit about the plot, Cole?
Okay, so that's actually kind of a cool fact. In doing research, I guess in the manual it says that Lakitu, the crazy turtle guy with the fishing pole, actually owns all the courses.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it like a land baron?
Yeah.
What?
It just he owns land. He can vote. It's fine.
Yeah, landed gentry Lakitu.
Yeah. I read that on the Super Mario wiki, so that may or may not be factual.
Everything on there is a fact.
I think it's a pro Lucky 2 slant.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah. So we do plot, but there's not really that much. But there are, like a bunch of different kinds of tracks, a couple different modes. I'm not sure what the most natural way to approach this is, because this is a very unnatural situation for us. I'm not in my bedroom, so so I'm all discombobulated.
He's gonna sleep here tonight, but it's not.
Yeah.
So if you guys can make a pallet in the back,
Yeah.
just lay down
Yes.
some coats, we'd appreciate it.
Just shred
We're
some,
sleepy.
shred some
We need a
newspaper
nap.
or something. If I seem like I'm terrified of you, I am. So yeah, why don't we kind of talk a little bit about the racing itself?
Yeah. Yeah, so the biggest thing, I mean, this is right on the page, but it's a kart racer. So when I came to this, what I appreciate about it is it's not a realistic racing game. Realistic racing games I'm terrible at, and I don't know how to be good at them. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I also can't conceive of what design decision, like I can't see the strings, so I don't know what design decisions I'm making. But kart racing games, starting with Super Mario Kart, they're a little bit slower. Is part of it, and then just the control just feels a little bit tighter for that, probably because it's a little bit slower. So it feels different than any racing game that I played. It's the first kind of proper kart racing game. There have been racing games that featured car combat before, and kind of pole position is a little bit like this, but not entirely.
It's weird to think of an era where putting things in carts was not the obvious thing to do with your IP.
Yeah.
When it was once a new novel idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I think the power-ups make a big difference in this too. I mean, this isn't the first example of kart racing, but taking these iconic things from the Mario universe, I think everybody kind of knows what a green turtle shell will do. But to throw it at your friend in order to
Yeah.
deny him some joy is a wonderful thing.
It reminds me of something. So when you take like a property and you use it as a skin onto another game, it kind of acts as a libretto for it. So the example I keep thinking about is the Chocobo's Dungeon game, which is a roguelike based in Final Fantasy, and you just know what everything does. So it's still a totally different kind of game than Final Fantasy, but you know what Firagra does, blind, all of these things. So it kind of gives you a guide for it.
Yeah, and in this case, the levels are kind of skinned after areas in Super Mario World, that being the one that came out most recently after it. And every Mario Kart has kind of cribbed a little bit from the most recent Mario that came out before it. So like Mario Kart Wii has like Rosalina as an unlockable character. For Mario Galaxy, the design of Rainbow Road kind of like cribs from that a little bit.
Yeah.
And so if you're coming hot off the heels of Super Mario World, you have a very good grasp on what's happening. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are these different like kinds of courses. You've got the like the donut plains and kind of the circuits, like which are like normal racetracks. Those are kind of marked like there's no way to really lose at those, or to fail really, aside from hitting a wall or going backwards or.
Lakitu gets mad if you go backwards.
Yeah, he does.
Makes more sense now, though. I know Lakitu owns the track.
Yeah.
They set their own rules.
Well, he doesn't want his insurance premiums to go up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't sell this track. Someone went backwards on it. It's like selling that house in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Jesse tries to sell his house. Spoilers?
That's it, a couple of seasons ago. Who knows?
Everybody dies.
Just assume.
Yeah.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah. So there's and then they kind of start ramping up the difficulty and the trickiness. So I think the first real tricky course introduced is the Ghost House, which subverts something that you're expecting. So in a kart racer, you're expecting this high degree of kind of forgiveness because you can bounce on everything. You know, it's not like a proper racing game where you immediately blow up as soon as your bumper touches another. Everyone's driving a gremlin. And then but in the ghost houses, you have large areas with no bumper, and then statistically, the bumper disappears. So if you're taking the same turn the same way every lap, you're going to hit the same spot and just go, you know, fall off into endless void, you know, to probably, I don't know, go mad from inky blackness and being alone for the rest of
It's
your
like the end of House of Leaves.
Yeah.
It's like burning your fuel for
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. And you know, at our booth, and we encourage you to to swing by. We're on the show floor. We're doing time trials, and kind of the grand prize, the hardest one is the final, like the special cup version of Ghost Valley, and it's really fun to watch this kind of play out and see exactly that, see the mistakes that people keep making.
Yeah. It's really fun.
It's incredibly like somehow it is more unforgiving than Rainbow Road, which has no rails anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the last game in the series that Rainbow Road wasn't 20 minutes long. From this point onward, like I started playing Rainbow Road in Nintendo 64, and it's still going at my apartment. I just left it on.
Yeah.
And it'll probably end a little bit like when the show ends. It just goes and goes and goes.
Oh, it's like the tree of life.
Yeah. Yeah, we have, so Bowser Castle levels, what those introduce is a few new hazards. There are kind of areas where you can fall off with lava. There are also thwomps making a guest appearance. And a lot of times they have multiple branching paths, which is kind of tricky. There'll be not just the normal shortcuts, which we'll talk about, but actual areas where you can kind of make your own way. And I really like that. That gives you, I tend to try to take things as tight as possible. I know it's a racing game and that's what you're supposed to do. But, every time I do it, it bites me in the ass. I feel like the design of specifically Bowser's Castle 3 in the third world is designed to punish me for doing that.
Yeah. And then, like, beyond those kind of like gimmick theme level kind of things, there are like different kinds of terrains. So like Choco levels are kind of these off-road kind of things where you end up going real slow, kind of similar to the beach levels where you're going through water that slows you down a little bit. And then, the frozen ones, because ice levels have to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I think are like probably the second hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get pulled out as a block of ice. It's fun.
Yeah. So another thing that you have control over when you're playing, so in a way it like suits your style. So you have different kinds of racers. There's some interesting things about this. So you choose your kind of mostly the weight class. There are light characters that have really good control, which would be Toad and Koopa. Medium all around, which are the Mario Brothers. Medium with high acceleration and low top speed, which would be Yoshi and the Princess. And then heavies, Donkey Kong Jr. is his only appearance in any of these games, and Bowser. And high top acceleration but low pickup speed.
Yeah. This would get more granular like later on in the series. I think everybody has their favorite racer, but like you get into the Wii or the DS, and you have all these stats and bars and stuff that you're supposed to fill out. But like as of Super Mario Kart, it was kind of a mystery. You just had to discern it from playing around.
Yeah.
And along with that, like everybody having their favorite racer, I don't know. Like when I was young, everybody fought over Yoshi. Like Yoshi was the one. Like Mario Kart kind of like both strengthens and ruins friendships. Like it dissolves the ties that bind two people together.
It's a universal solvent.
Yeah.
Is Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Well, he was hot off the heels of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like everyone's like, who's that little lizard guy?
And the 90s dinosaur fever,
Yeah.
just in general.
Dino fever.
Yeah, not the dino fever that wiped out.
Oh, Billy and the Clonosaurus.
Long-necked mosquito of the Creozoic area.
Yeah. But so you have a little bit not as much control. Kind of an interesting thing, we're going to talk about like oddities, like things that make Super Mario Kart weird in the series. I'm not sure. I think it depends. So if you couldn't hear that, he asked, "Was Yoshi the best?" It all comes down to preference. I think I can't say objectively. I'd be interested, for our booth, since we're doing these time trials, I was curious to see what the best times are. So I went on Twin Galaxies, but they don't actually have any data about which characters clocked those speeds. So I'd be curious to see like what the OP version of that is, if there is some kind of like codified, Final Destination, Fox only, no items kind of thing,
Well, Yoshi's weird too. I don't know this isn't answering your question at all. In Mario World, Mario rides Yoshi, In Mario Kart, Yoshi rides a car. Like, it's a little bit like a horse riding a car, driving a car, which is weird.
Okay, if they want,
It's like a backpack driving a skateboard.
if they went one level deeper, it would be a car driving Mario.
Yeah. 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 Look out, DeviantArt. We just gave you
And on the projector,
yeah. Yeah, here's our sketches of what that might look like.
we're selling prints later. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah, nobody draw that.
Please. No.
But if you do, tell us.
Yeah.
The
Make it just for us, please. Make it just for us.
Yeah.
No. But
So-
yeah.
who's our favorite character, Bob? Who do you like playing in Mario Kart?
This is going to sort of pigeonhole me, but I like Koopa Troopa, who was not available again until I think Double Dash.
Yeah.
So I was a little peeved that he was replaced with Wario in Mario 64. Sorry, Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's agreement from
And-
the crowd.
He has the cool, like, weird cross Google eyes, so there's something wrong with him, but they still let him play, which is fine.
He got kicked in the head by a Yoshi.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the stables.
I guess they take a lot of
Yeah.
abuse. They're always walking off cliffs and whatnot.
But he has so much to teach us.
Yeah.
So. But, was that cruel?
You know.
That's a literary trope. I don't actually
Yeah.
believe that.
How about you, Cole? Who do you like playing as?
So in Super Mario Kart, I like Luigi, just because heavy racers are so, what's the word, unplayable. Your recovery time is so bad anyway, and when you hamstring your ability to accelerate, it just like, it's very unforgiving. It's kind of like pro mode. In 64 and later, I like heavy racers like Bowser. In Wii, I like Funky Kong. And I know that Funky Kong actually is the MLG preferred character. Like his stats are really good. But yeah, I like to be able to knock some people around because I'm not that good at steering to avoid them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Toad. It's before he talked, so I like that about him. He just talked on the cartoon, and I can ignore that. It's not canon. And I just, there's something about the pleasing roundness of the back of his head, taking up most of my view.
Watch out for fireballs. Your source for talking about the
Pleasing roundness?
pleasing geometries. Yes. Yeah. But right now, everybody shout out who your favorite character is.
At the same time, we'll parse.
Very cool. I agree with all of you.
Yeah. Wide variety, which is good. One of the neat things about those different classes too, and you'll notice this when you play, but it's a little bit subtle, is that when the computer is playing as a character, they have special powers. They cheat. Well, they cheat in 1,000 ways. Like they cheat a lot. And one of the ways is that they have power-ups that you don't have access to. So Toad and Princess can shoot mini mushrooms at you. There's no item in the game that does that. And kind of, I feel most unfairly, Mario and Luigi can just straight up turn invincible on and off. Like, why don't they make the whole plane out of the black box? Like, why don't they just, just have that on all the time? I don't know.
Yeah. Let's
Bowser
see.
shoots fireballs.
Fireballs, watch out for those.
Yeah, Yoshi shoots eggs.
Yeah, and like Koopa shoots green shells, and Donkey Kong Jr. gets
shoots his
banana
skin.
peels.
Doesn't Toad leave behind mushrooms that shrink you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
pieces of himself.
It's like just rips it off of his head while he's driving.
It's like he's jettisoning weight so he can go faster. Like, eventually, it's just like a hand with like two eyes. Like
He's a fungal colony, right? Like that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he's some kind of hive mind,
Yeah.
collective Migo kind of thing.
Reproduces by budding.
Yeah.
Don't draw that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you look to the screen.
Yeah, don't draw anything that we say.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they also, one of the other ways that they cheat is that depending on which character you pick, you're assigned a rival. So one of the other characters will be classified as very fast, a second character will be classified as fast, then you have a medium character, and then a couple slows and a couple very slows. And depending on what their classification is, they will kind of rubber band back into place. If you hit your rival with a red shell, they will just gain speed until they're back competing with you. Whereas one of the very slow ones, if you hit him with a red shell, he loses his progress. So this kind of foreshadowed something that's a really common criticism of the series, and one of the things that I think is kind of a weakness of the later games, despite that I like them, is this rubber banding AI, where if you are ahead, it's really hard to stay ahead because the computer will do everything in its power to tear you down.
Blue shell.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody is shouting blue shell in unison.
Yeah.
But like it gets even more ridiculous, like in the Wii version with like the bullet, where you can just go from last to like third. It's good. Yeah, it's good to have a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, am I right?
Yeah.
No. Sorry. No. I don't believe.
Too late.
It's been like 4 years.
It's like 18 months later.
Who's still holding that grudge?
Mrs. Woods? Yeah, like, there's a really good answer to that question, Cole.
That's good. Probably to an
therapist.
attorney.
Yeah, attorney.
Yeah, but yeah, it's. I don't.
Yeah. So they're coins too. Coins are a weirdo thing. Like if you've been playing the more popular Mario Karts and haven't gone back to the first one for a while, coins.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I always preferred them, and everyone hated them, and now they're back, or they were back last year. I didn't play that one, but I know the coins returned. I thought it was a cool incentive to like take certain turns, and if you held on to them, I think it would raise your acceleration rate. Is that true?
It's your top speed.
Top speed, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It always felt good just to have 10 coins in the bank. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you would have to pay the toll whenever Lakitu would raise you up. I'm not sure what the penalty for not having any coins was when he raised you, but
There isn't one. You
No?
just
No.
lose time. So like what the coins, I think what they do is they increase those penalties for mistakes.
Yeah.
You're losing some max speed, and it makes it a little bit harsher to get back when you fall off the course or spin out.
do we know if they serve the same purpose in the new ones? I haven't
Yeah.
played 7 or any
I
of the ones.
don't know.
Yeah, if you get 10 coins, which is the maximum, then that you go faster.
Yes, a helpful man in the audience just confirmed that yes.
I confirmed it too.
Okay. Sorry, I just when you hear these live
microphone. I'm on the show, man.
when you hear these live shows, like you hear
Yeah.
people shout out from the audience, I want to make
Yeah.
sure. Why do you hate our listeners?
Yeah. Feathers.
Yes. So in later versions of the game, they just had shortcuts built in because there are these crazy vertically aligned, 3D spaces as opposed to being a 2D plane laid out. So the way that they did shortcuts in Mario Kart, and all this stuff surprised me. I see it. You get the flight feather again. You just do a boing, and can jump over stuff. But it's really, really like heavily in line with like risk as opposed to reward.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of the feathers. Like I feel like in one of these games, if you have the opportunity to take a shortcut and you don't do it, like what are you doing? Like you go for it. There's so little consequence to this unless you're playing in, on a stage in front of people, like at the end of The Wizard, and thousands of people are watching, and you're trying to make that little knight go to the right until you win. But otherwise, just go for the shortcut. But here, they're really difficult to pull off, and there's only a couple of them. So it ends up being a very situational item, and it's included in battle mode, which is frustrating because it's
But like
purely
you
defensive.
can jump over shells like a boss with it though, so
Yeah.
that's good. But
Yeah.
So the other kind of thing that's weird about it is like every later course was like longer in the later games. Like these are really short courses, like with 5 laps, and each cup has five courses too. So it's the pacing of it is incredibly strange. It's more like these like little sprint races.
You can definitely tell when they put these old tracks in newer games.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
such a huge difference between the length of these and the ones that would come later.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really strange.
Like the average race time went from like we're looking at like 2 minutes up to like 4 or 5, which is pretty huge, especially when you're looking at this game that is meant to be played with like a bunch of people rapidly. Like
Yeah.
let's go again kind of thing.
Yeah, I like in Double Dash the track that's a callback to that. I think it's like Baby Mario's or something, and you do 7 laps, but it's really short. I like that a whole lot.
Yeah. And then kind of the final thing that we have here. Oh, we already talked about the rivalry. Can I
Yeah.
say it again just so I can go through that or exit off? Okay.
I want to know, is your rival arbitrarily chosen? Because it feels like each character has their own corresponding rival,
They're
kind of
set.
arbitrarily. It's like Luigi hates Yoshi for some reason or something. I don't know.
He's
Like,
jealous.
He heard Yoshi's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't. Yoshi's been laying eggs in his behind his bed. It's like disgusting.
She's heard Luigi's like, I'm Mario's green friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
It was spooky. Like we were playing it the other night to get to get prepared. Do some pre-production. And I'm sitting there. I'm banging my head against the wall, saying, "Man, this is some bullshit. Like Yoshi's getting me every time I'm playing as Luigi." And you found the rivalry thing.
Yeah.
And like you correctly like predicted down to like the last like 3 what
what order
what
they're
the
in.
order was.
Yeah, it's
So,
very set, and some of them make sense and some of them don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Yoshi hating Luigi only kind of makes sense. Or no, Yoshi doesn't hate. Yoshi hates the princess.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh.
How many times did you throw me off a cliff so you could rescue this broad?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Or it's
Yeah.
an animal protecting the owner. So.
Oh,
Oh,
hey.
yeah.
I was
yeah.
gonna say Mario doesn't ride you, he rides me. But that's I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry.
Bob for the
Nobody draw that.
he shoots, he scores.
Yeah, no one draw that.
But
I mean, thousands have already, but
yeah.
So, do we want to talk about the different kinds of modes? There's a lot of value in this cart. Like, you know, at the time, like even, and this is not a revelation or anything, but it feels crazy now going back in time to think about going to a store and spending $50 on one of these SNES games or more. But there's a lot to this. Like I had friends and we would play play versus mode and race and everything. But even just on my own, kind of mastering it, there's a lot to do in this game. So there's kind of you know, just the GP, which is you're racing with the computer opponents.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's there, and that's where the rivals get assigned. If you want to just duel somebody, you can do that as well, which is it's a Mario race or match race. Match race.
Match race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's time trial where you just go for scores and then battle. What's interesting to me is that like all this is like stuck around. This is
Yeah.
they like that they hit it and they nailed it. And if like are there other like modes that they've added? I mean, aside from like online or whatever, like I can't like it's been this for 20 years.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean there are variations on battle, but it's still essentially the same
Yeah.
concept.
You're still
Yeah.
popping balloons.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, battle mode, I think in the series is probably the weakest battle mode because it
Yeah.
is 2D. So it's very difficult. Any of the barriers that you have to circumnavigate to get to your opponent are flat against the ground. And from one end of battle map 4 to the other, knowing how many lanes you have to cross, you're a better man than I
Yeah.
if you can do that. So that's the mode that I think is most improved by moving to 3D.
Yeah, and it's also hurt because you can only do like one-on-one, and because of how big some of these battle maps are, it's like, where the hell are you? I can't even find you.
Yeah.
It becomes this kind of game of cat and mouse as you're trying to find each other. It's like the Predator. It's like
It
suddenly.
becomes a stealth shooter.
yeah, kind
Essentially, yeah. Like how long did we play? Like we were playing battle mode to prepare for the show, and we spent like way longer than we spent on any individual course, just kind of stalking each other on this
Yeah.
thing. And then we get there, and he's in the other lane. And it's like,
Yeah.
God damn it!
That and the items don't respawn. They're finite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So if you're going
What
around
happens
for like
then?
8-9 minutes, do you just run into each other? But what if you're the same weight class?
Whoever gets
the
bored first
possibilities.
loses.
Like who? Somebody.
The only way to win is not to play.
Exactly.
It's like Spec Ops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all this stuff kind of stuck through. We're gonna talk about the later modes in the series, but I never had good luck with battles because I can't navigate 3D space that well. So it's really hard to just keep your bearings.
Yeah, most of the world is 3D space too, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about Cole.
Yeah.
We also exist in 3D space.
It,
so.
it explains a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like just kind of doing these wrap-up questions before we get to the later games in the series. Like what is special about Mario Kart? Let's kind of go down the
Well,
line and
I think it did a lot to characterize some of Mario's secondary cast. In that, something I loved about the game is everybody's quote-unquote ending, which is their ending animation, they all did something different, which sort of reflected who they were as a person, I guess, if you want to go that far. And also, every character basically had like 16 frames or 16 angles?
Yeah.
And as they would go through the rotation, there would be like an animation, like the princess would wink at you, and Yoshi would stick his tongue out, which means he was always in the process of sticking his tongue in and out. But I mean, I don't know, like little touches like that made me, enjoy the game, like these attempts to characterize the characters. And then in Mario Kart 64, which we'll get to later, everyone got a voice finally. I mean, that was the first time I think all these characters were finally voiced. So I don't know, Mario Kart weirdly defined a lot of these people, for me at least.
Yeah. What's funny, like a little bit of trivia. So those ending animations, who was it? Peach and
Peach and
Donkey Kong?
Bowser.
Peach and Bowser. They would just straight up like chug that champagne, and they're in. It's like,
it could
calm
be
down.
bubble bath. Don't assume the worst.
It doesn't get any better than this. Let's go. But yeah, but they had to change that because alcohol is a no-no.
in general.
Yeah, I think that Mario Kart, like, it's always held a special place for me, just because it's so inclusive. Accessible kind of has this weird connotation, like, it does take a little bit, to get acclimated to it. Like, you can't just sit down with somebody who's never seen a video game before and say, like, go, do this. It wouldn't take them as long to get there as it would for, like, Gran Turismo 4 or whatever. But inclusive, like, everybody has a place here, and that rubber banding with the items has a little bit of an effect on that. But this was, like, pioneered that whole genre of, like, anybody can sit down and play this. Mario games, sports, making it accessible.
Yeah, and even Mario Party. Like, you can make a direct line to that, kind of just sit down on the couch and get anybody. Your cousin who doesn't play video games will probably race with you.
Yeah.
There, so.
Yeah, so lots of good memories of just sitting around and playing this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I largely echo that. Like, I like how accessible it is, and there's just the learning curve is just very gradual. Like, the game gets difficult and it's hard to master. Like, unlocking the special cup, getting a 100cc gold cup in each race is difficult. But just sitting down and getting into it, it just feels very forgiving. Whereas most racing games, I didn't like racing games until Mario Kart. Like, I just I played RC Pro-Am and I'd play pole position and even F-Zero, which is, I like F-Zero and has amazing music, but it's very difficult and very requires this kind of precision that I didn't have. And I think this just kind of has a nice, like, a gentler ramp up, which made it was inviting to me. And I think I've played every game in the series, even the later ones that everyone hates that are just all rubber band physics and stuff. Like, it's a really good. It's kind of my go-to, pick up and put down game.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody express hatred for it, like derision, but not like, blah, why does this thing?
This will eventually end up on the internet, so I can use the word hate to mean anything.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they eventually added, they gave everyone a baby counterpart. I think that's when things went a little too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They partner in time.
It's like, how do they coexist together? I don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah, who's the mom? It's like Venture Brothers. Like, I'm just waiting for that question to be answered.
Okay, it's like Looper.
Yeah. Yeah, Mario is Mario's own son.
Yeah, something like that.
You can tell from his bad bald cap. He's looping. Spoilers for Looper.
Oh shit.
That's not
sorry.
spoilers. It's in the trailer.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. So later Mario Kart. So we just want to hit some of the highlights.
Yeah. So each one kind of added something different. I mean, obviously Mario Kart 64 had the 3D perspective, but like I think the bigger contribution was the 4-player. Like, holy crap. Being able to sit down with 4 controllers and 3 friends and play this thing.
At the same time, didn't they lock you out of certain courses with 4 players in Mario Kart 64? I'm pretty sure some of the battle courses weren't available because they're like, we can't handle that. There's too many polygons.
Yeah, maybe. I never did battle.
Does anybody in the back? Yes?
What I've noticed with those in 4-player, they strip down a lot of the courses.
Okay, so
Stuff going on.
an audience member is saying they stripped down some of the more intensive courses for 4-player.
And there's no music, I don't think.
That's right, there's no
Yeah.
music. And, oh, man.
It turns into a Silent Hill-esque experience where you're just kind of racing through the ruins of Lakitos.
Occasionally the courses just turn into wireframe. And
Yeah. And Roy Campbell just starts talking to the ear, explaining that you're in a simulation. Just
All you hear is just the echoing drone of your engine.
Hideo. So.
Yeah.
That's when you put on like Sugar Ray. It's 1997, right?
Yeah.
How bizarre.
Why not? Yeah. But also the voices, that was a pretty big deal.
Which ruined Toad for me. Like, I really liked Toad up until that point. Like, he was my favorite in Super Mario Brothers 2, like, against all odds. And then they gave him this voice that I was not into.
Yes. So this is just like a barely related thing, but I have an episode of an issue rather of EGM from around that time, and like the cover story was like women in gaming. It's like female characters, and like the number 1 slot. This tells you how far we've come, in games journalism. God, as if I'm part of that. How far that's come, because Toad took the number 1 slot.
Ladies in games.
Yes, ladies in games, because
They misgendered Toad.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
Salmon.
I guess we couldn't have known, though. There was no Toadette to,
yeah, true, yeah.
strike a balance.
It's like, but their reasoning was he has a high voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Eden. Is it EGM? What is it? EGM or Game Pro?
EGM. It was EGM.
Yeah,
Like,
EGM.
I don't know.
Yeah. Even when we're talking about them stripping down the courses, even in the Super Nintendo version, if you're doing a time trial, the frame rate is like so much better and it plays so much smoother without having all the other racers to kind of have on the screen. Like it plays like a lot better. So I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up would be the GBA one. Does anyone here like the GBA one? I know a lot of people don't like it. You like it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't spent. I have it on an Ambassador 3DS. I haven't spent tons of time with it, but I hear a lot of bad things in dark corners of the internet about it.
I think it hasn't aged well because I think the graphics were made to compensate for the GBA's original, unlit screen, and I think they overcompensated. So when
Yeah.
you play today, it looks incredibly washed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like what was it, Harmony of Dissonance or whatever?
Right,
Where
but
they-
like the opposite,
Yeah.
where.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty much the same thing. Like they just mimicked the Mode 7, so it was kind of a step backward in that regard. After that is Double Dash, which is generally regarded as like the favorite. Somebody just gave a fist bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never spent a lot of time with Double Dash. I never had a GameCube until I had a Wii. But like what that brought in was the something they quickly abandoned, which is the 2-player carts.
Right, and I think that's where Blue Sparks first reared their ugly head, or pretty head. I like them.
I like them too.
But I mean, I think a lot of people would agree that's the last Mario Kart that really demanded skill. There was less of a buffer for new players. It was sort of like, and I'm not sure if is that the straight up like tournament favorite, or is this still the original Mario Kart as far as tournaments go?
I have no factual basis for
Okay.
that thing I just said.
Yeah. I'm not sure. One of the things I like about Double Dash is that it's your cart now consisting of 2 players and a cart has give you a lot more customization. So a cart with 2 heavy racers on a heavy cart, or a medium cart with a heavy racer and a light racer. All these things are going to control so differently, and depending on who you have in control, you have a lot more kind of nuance to it. So which is real neat, and just being able to hold multiple items, like add tactical kind of considerations.
Yeah.
There.
Also, they had LAN play. I always forget that the GameCube had network capability, but with the adapter, I guess. But that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, like a big era for like LAN kind of stuff. Now everything is over the network and kind of impersonal. But I just remember hauling boxes into one room and staying there all night and then taking those boxes away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we kind of moving on to the DS one after that. Yeah, which brought in that network play, playing online, and also brought in snaking, which
Yeah.
which means you have no chance of ever winning. Snaking is just drifting down a straightaway with your blue sparks. So like later. Brrr.
I think you
Yeah.
need the muscle control of an 8-year-old gymnast to pull it off, because I think that's all who's playing online too. 8-year-old gymnasts or hackbots or something like that.
Yeah. Their parents will yell at them for not practicing.
Hackbots probably.
Yeah.
Their parents are like pressuring them into doing it. Like
Yeah.
like
They're
this
like
weird.
gymnast parents.
Yeah,
I
this
drive you to the ice rink every morning to practice snaking. I don't know why I bring you there. I just get up early, and it's a nice place to have coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of stage moms, it's course moms. Damn it. Yeah. I like the DS one. The DS one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's real good. And then 7. 7
Oh, the
which,
Wii one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
Wah,
Wii.
wah, wah.
Yeah, I like the Wii one a lot. Like it's kind of maligned, but it ended up being the one that I spent the most time with.
Most annoying Rainbow Road ever.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mario's track, terrible.
Yeah.
Get 'em.
This is what's provoking the most anger.
But we have the designer right here. Hope you all brought your eggs.
I want him brought here with a big bow on his fat head.
Yeah, more rubber banding in the Wii version,
Yeah.
gentlemen just said, and that's definitely true. And it kind of plays into the way this game converted in my mind to something that I would play for mastery, to something I would just play and not get that invested in. Like it's just like, oh, this is fun. I'm gonna see some colors and do some stuff and try to get better at it. But I never mastered like the Wii version. Like it was never something that I would ever want to play competitively or for anything other than just kind of fun and stimulation. Upbeat.
You can play as your Mii.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
everybody loves their Mii, right?
Yeah.
That worked out well. I hate those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't do beards. Like,
Yeah. It's like it just has to have a darker color right here.
yeah.
Anybody that was able to actually make their Mii look like them
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, certain people look, that's why if you go on the Me Plaza, there's 1,000 Barack Obamas because like
Yeah.
you can make a Me Barack Obama. You can also make Al Swearingen from Deadwood really well.
Like you could do all these like crazy. It's like even beyond like Saints Row level of customization. I've seen people make like C-3PO in it. It's just bizarre what you can do with that.
Yeah.
So there's your Star Wars Nintendo crossover if you want.
And then then 7, which added kind of hang glider sections and underwater sections to it, and 3D.
Yeah.
So it's on the 3DS.
3D, so you can immediately turn it off, so you don't get sick.
It's like headache mode off. Okay, I'm ready.
I was going to say, so this applies to the Super Nintendo version too, is that I can actually do the 3D on 7, and part of it is because you're focused in on this racer, and I think that's why the Mode 7 is acceptable, because you're just seeing the track in your periphery, and the track, Mode 7, for as impressive as it is at the time, is really bad for discerning details or navigating or anything you'd want to do in a video game. So but the fact that you're not really focusing on that, and you just need to know like obstacle, turn, and just kind of have these spatial awareness of that.
Yeah.
So and that's why the 3D kind of works for me because I'm just focused in, on my racer.
Yeah, definitely. So those are the different areas. I think that what we'd like to spend a little bit of time doing is just talking about our favorite Mario Kart memories, just because it has been around for so
Do we
long.
want to do that, or do we want to open up the mic?
Do we have an
We got about
audience
10
mic?
minutes.
I don't see an audience
Yeah.
microphone.
Um,
Doe.
okay.
Maybe that one? Let me see if that mic's hot.
That might work.
Yeah. Does anybody want to come up and say the big part of our show for people who haven't listened to it is people writing in and us reading their comments and everything. Like we want to make it like a big book club. Like everybody gets in on that. So does anybody want to kind of come up here and take a minute to talk about Mario Kart? What you like about it? What you dislike about it? Yeah, come on up.
Come on, podium.
Yeah, just form a queue if people want to come on up. So yeah. I know it's a podium, but don't slam your fist down on it like a
Like the triumph of the will. Don't
Yeah.
do that.
This will be the last one? Okay.
First and last.
And only.
What's your name?
My name is Derek.
Hey, Eric.
So the first Mario Kart game I played was Mario Kart 64, and a lot of the memories that I had with Mario Kart came from that game. Whether it was discovering the shortcut in Rainbow Road, where you jump through the empty void of space to get on the other side, to the fact that if you got in 4th place, your cart would explode, which was really kind of morbid to me. So I tried not to get 4th place after that.
It's kind of like Battle Royale,
Yeah, pretty much. But it was just so out of left field to me. So that was just something that I enjoyed. But yeah, I play Mario Kart 7 a lot, and I really enjoy it. And I really think it's kind of like just one of I think it's actually quite perfect in its execution and just the way it's, the controls are really good and just everything about it. But my favorite has to be Double Dash, just because Double Dash introduced a new strategy with the second player, but it also, allowed you to, what other racer allows you to switch drivers midway, It really encouraged teamwork, and it really encouraged, cooperation, which is not something you find in most games. And so, yeah, I thought that was really cool. And I can't wait for 8, where you can go upside down and shit. That's pretty hardcore. So, all right. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
That-
go ahead.
I was just going to add on to that. So that's something we didn't talk about, with the teamwork and cooperation. Just the fact that it actually would tear friendships apart. That's overstating it just a little bit. But just that idea that you're going to be arguing with somebody over something, makes people mad.
Yeah. So yeah, by way of just kind of admin stuff. So thanks everybody for coming. You can find us on the internet at since we're wrapping up at duckfeed.tv/watch out for fireballs. Come by our booth if you didn't get a chance to talk and you have things to say about Mario Kart. Participate in our time trials, and we'll get you on the episode as well. Bob.
Oh yeah, I'm Bob Servo on Twitter. I also do the Retronauts podcast, and we have a panel next if you want to stick around for that. We're talking about the Sega Genesis's 25th anniversary, and you can find my work on US Gamer, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. We'd like to thank everybody who donated to our Kickstarter. That made it possible for us to get out here and do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else to take care of, so
Yeah.
why don't we,
Until next time, what should they watch out for, Cole?
they should watch out for red turtle shells.
Yeah,
Yes,
that'll do it.
that'll do it. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.